Greetings, bloggers, vloggers, followers, and potters. Dustin here from Dustin's Dynasty for the second half of this week's vlog. So if you've been reading my blog this week, or if you've not had it, I will include a link in the video. I encourage you to visit either my website or my podcast if you haven't already. I have been realizing how much I have bounced back in the recent months, if more so than when I hit rock bottom over 2 years ago. And even though I quickly got back on my feet through some saving graces, until starting the process of understanding the need of where I was and where I still needed to go, I didn't realize how much getting out of the dark place I kept wanting to be in, and not believing that I could be take back to where I began to spiral out of control. I have spoken before on setting boundaries, and when I set them previously. I I do have good intentions, however, but I would get pressured by those that I set the boundaries up against to lessen them. One of the tendencies I would have many times is that I have a tendency to be a people pleaser and a highly sensitive person, and being sensitive to their needs, but not being sensitive and recognizing of my own personal needs and putting myself first. In the last several months, I have made a decision out of the blue to set a boundary for setting my own self-worth and safety. I'm sorry. I became very unaware of how I was being brought to the misery of those trying to bring me down in their own misery. As such, this misery from multiple people and not seeing the good things over several years created an energy stemming from myself onto those close to me who know me very well. And when I was supposed to be happy and thankful for all the new opportunities I was presented with, I was very bleak about them and couldn't see past the small challenges that came from them. I was unable to see the positivity of being back on my own in short order and through luck, and being grateful that I had a home and other opportunities again. As I lived in this manner, I would often retreat away from others, then including those close to me, and when I would be in their presence, bring them down, and in my misery originally transpired from me. I would can't say honestly what flipped the switch to make me keep those boundaries while working on myself. I put in the hard work and that was necessary. I journaled when I felt. I put in the wellness plans I needed to stay on track. And when I didn't feel like taking my medicine, I wrote down why, and I realized what doing so was so more beneficial than not. Once I got a monthly dosing, once I got a steady dosing within my body, I started to be more grounded and be the person that I left over 3 years prior. I sought others who thought like me and brought me happiness into my being. They made me feel more influenced and valid than I ever was. Not that they tried when I was in a negative mindset. Their thoughts were secondary to my primary concern at the time. Was giving attention, living in misery and survival mode. Continuing down the path, I began to remember when I had my first crisis over 2 decades ago, and when I was finally on nearly the same medication regimen, and how the psychiatrist told my parents to not rock the boat. I had the resignation of years ago. I was left under the watchful eye of my parents that pushing the medication was their way of making me live the way they wanted. And while I had to go on my started journey, and later accept that I needed a medicine, and later that I am still the person that I want to be, regardless if I take medicine to help me pursue my journey, if I have to take medicine to help me in my journey or not. Understanding the importance that is still over 2 decades later proves that it is beneficial to my mental health, and is something that is not to be tampered with, or bring me to the point where I almost lost everything. Even though I did literally crash, and the saving grace of my therapist, who I have been known for over 2 decades now, if it wasn't for her swift and quick response to me being in crisis, I don't know where I'd be here today. Now understanding what is important in my journey of what I need to be and who I am, it is time for me to get back to where I left off on my journey just over 2 years ago, before the world crashed around me. Since being on the right path, we have mostly experienced winter weather, and as a result, I have not been able to navigate around the community that I once did, which was something I once enjoyed. I know that doing what will be good for both my mental and physical health. I have been putting myself more out there and it has been paying off in dividends. Those in oversight capacities through my work and many others are seeing the fruits of my labor and a better mindset for me. Since the first of the year, I have surrounded myself with more positive mindset and cleaning my and sharing my social media and understanding the need to routinely practice self-care at regular intervals. I also brought back music from my last crisis and COVID that made me think of the memories that I once had about myself that made me feel good. I had to prove myself that once again I can be back where I was in those early days and feel good about myself and experience my personal freedoms that would even brighten the spirits even more and continue to and help me continue on my journey and be more of an inspiration to those around me as I was before the world crashed on me over 2 years ago. I am so happy to be where I am in this part of my journey, and it's taught me that even though you hit rock bottom once in your journey, you are not immune to seeing it again. And while there is a slow growth from my advocacy platforms, since I have been turning myself around for the better. I am thankful to have not to have so much of a massive following to prevent unwanted harm. On the contrary, my personal Facebook has seen a decline in numbers in recent weeks. I have assured that because I am inspired there too, but not in the same manner. Some may think that I believe in toxic positivity, and as in there is no negativity. I certainly believe there is room for negativity at the table. There is a place for it, and we as humans have the right to feel whatever we are feeling and need to feel. However, bringing a negative mindset is not something I want to bring out in the life that I want to share with the world. As all things on my platforms, publicly and personally, I am the one who holds control of what I choose to share versus what I choose not to share. There is no time for drama or other misery that I have experienced in my personal life over the several years, and now I am finally in a better place. Choosing to save for behind the platforms is for now is the way I want to present myself. It absolutely exists. However, there is a time, place, and limit for such activity. I know that I am in a good spot and can have a great energy to those around me. I am surrounding myself with positive energy and influence and being of someone who can give in the same return. I remember the good days before COVID, before I started the decline, and even before I started thinking about living on my own. Now living on my own, it only brings the situation that was good in many ways even better in many more ways. COVID has given me additional resources, and I have met other people because of my ability to open up more. And I am ever thankful for all of the people who helped me when I started to spiral, made recognition to get me stable, and find what works to put the misery behind me. And hopefully that will continue. I want to thank you for listening. Be sure to tap the notification bell if you want to hear more videos. Be sure to also hit like or dislike if you want, and be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. As always, I'm on the web at dustinsdynastyusa.com. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dustin's Dynasty. I'm on Pinterest and TikTok at Dustin's Dynasty ASD, where I post to TikTok at least once daily. And this video will be transferred to a vlog, and as all my vlogs with my blog posts are on Spotify and many other platforms at Dustin's Dynasty ASD. I want to thank you again for listening, and as a reminder, have a nice day. And lastly, I want to mention that this photo in my background is that when I was starting to get into good spirits and I was out of the doctor appointment, and I decided to take a picture because I felt good about myself. So, sometimes we have to find what's good for ourselves, and I seem to start doing that. So again, I want to thank you for listening and have a good day.